Hello YouTube, this is Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, with a side-by-side comparison of the two versions of the Healers of the Earth Oracle. Now, I have a full unboxing on my channel of this one, the Healers of the Earth Oracle Borderless Edition, but yesterday in the mail I received the Healers of the Earth Oracle bordered edition. Now, the reason why I have two is because I was made aware of this deck by Kelly in the Truth and Story, her account, the Truth and Story, and she had, I believe, one of the editions. Anyway, I found the deck on her channel and I went over to Etsy, found the deck, and I pre-ordered this one. They were sold out at the time, but it was in a pre-order status sort of thing on her. Mandy Peterson is the creator. So on her Etsy shop, she had this borderless edition on pre-order. So I pre-ordered it, and that's what I have. But she had a Kickstarter campaign recently, the Uncover Your Past Life Oracle. It's a round oracle deck, you know, with the subject of your past lives. And I ordered that a few months ago on Kickstarter, and one of the reward tiers was to get one of her other decks, either this bordered edition of Healers of the Earth or her EFT deck, and then she has one other deck. I think it has to do with colors. But so I picked this one because you got it at a very, very low price, the bordered edition of this. And she said, she notified us and said that she was going to start mailing those who ordered extra decks with their Kickstarter campaign. We're going to get those decks first, so it'd be easier, not as big a box, not as bulky mailing. So she sent these out, and I just got it yesterday, and it was sent with, let's see, yes, a little thank you. And she says, I'm shipping the Healers of the Earth Oracle from Canada for backers in Canada and the US. The Uncover Your Past Life Oracle will ship in a separate package from a fulfillment center outside. Hope you enjoy. And then she sent a card of the deck, the bordered edition, that is signed, which is nice. And then a card with her information. So I did go on this website, empoweryourhealerwithin.com. You know, I'm not good at posting links, so that's something I really should learn. So, but here, if you are interested in either of these versions, I went on this website, and I saw that the borderless edition is sold out, but you can pre-order it. And this edition with the borders you can order, and it runs anywhere from $35 to $55, depending if you get it with the box or just the cards only. Okay, so we are going to at first take the shrink wrap off this edition, and we're just going to do a quick little side by side. Like I said, I have a full unboxing of the borderless edition. So I think the cards are, as far as I know, the cards are the same. You know, the artwork, it's just one has borders and one does not. And it seems like this box is a little bit smaller. Yeah, it's just, you know, maybe a quarter inch smaller than this. The borderless edition doesn't have the, you know, it has some artwork, but not a picture of the card. But they are both side slide out boxes. I do have to get up a little bit higher so you can see. So we'll move that off to that side. This one's a little bit smaller. So they both have the guidebook. Oh, and I see that the one I got in the Borderless edition, it does not have an insert. It comes in this nice bag. This is the one I got from Etsy. I pre-ordered from Etsy. That's the inside of the box and the book. And this one has an insert and no artwork. It's a nice, well, I think it is possible that maybe a card might be able to slip through there, maybe not. It's foam on the inside, so that's, you know, you can see there's a size difference, and this one came with the nice little picture on the inside. The other one came with a nice little picture on the outside of the box. Okay. The difference in the books, they are both kind of a semi-gloss in the, but I think they're the exact same thing. So let's see, we'll just take a quick, now this was published originally in 2018. So let's see. They look to be exactly the same, judging from the table of contents. So yes, exactly the same, albeit this one is a little bit smaller, a little bit harder to see the picture. It's just a black and white picture. This one, the Borderless edition, even though it shows borders on the card, slightly bigger picture, but exactly the same. Okay, so we are going to take the cards of the Borderless edition outside of the bag. I don't know if the cardstock is the same, so now we're going to kind of get in closer. All right, and we're going to take the shrink wrap off. Now, I'm trying to see, I think these are edged. Yeah, these are silver. It's like a matte silver edge, and these look to be, are these edged at all? No, these are not edged, and these are edged with silver. For a or wait, I really can't tell, my eyes are so bad, but I think these do look to be like a very matte silver edge. What do you think? This doesn't look like regular. Or maybe it is. No? There's a slight sheen. It's a very, yes, it's a very, very matte silver. And this one is, with the bordered edition, it's like a metallic silver edging. This is kind of fun, you guys. You know, I did side-by-sides of the Muse and the Light Sears Tarot, but this is something a little bit different in and of itself. So you can see, let's look at the card size. The Borderless edition is just a hair taller. I don't know if you can see that, but you see how much it's just that much that it sticks up. And I would say they're about the same width. But the Borderless edition is just that, ever so slightly. You see the green poking out there? It's a little bit taller. So let's see which one appeals to you. And the only reason why I have two is I ordered this. I wanted the Borderless, but since this was being, I can't remember the cost, but it was being offered so cheap. And I think Kelly Fitzgerald from The Truth and Story had this one. And she normally, I think she normally doesn't like borders, but she liked when she did a, you know, kind of a side-by-side, how the borders kind of separated the diverse artwork and kind of told the story a little bit better. So they do have a very, very, ooh, this doesn't have the 0 card, the intangible. Oh, so that's something different. Okay, so we're going to move this one out of the way because it doesn't seem to have it. And you know what? Let's go, I'm going to go to the guidebook. Okay, I see the intangible is in the guidebook here. Let's see if it's in the guidebook here. Oh, it is. And I don't have it. I wonder if it's at the end. Yes, it is. It's at the end. Okay. All right. So it was scaring me a little bit because it's in both books. All right. So you can see that. So we're from now on, we're just going to flip through. And I will say, oh, about the cardstock. Borderless is matte, kind of a matte satin. This is glossy. The bordered edition that I got is glossy. So this one on her website is in pre-order status, so I didn't look at the specs. I assume you'd be getting the same matte cardstock, but you'd have to double check. This one is available on her website, and it's a semi-gloss. It doesn't feel to be that really sticky glossy, but it is a gloss. So you might detect a little more shine on this bordered edition. And you know what? I think I'm going to open my blinds a little bit more so we can let more light in here. I forgot that I had closed them a little bit. That's better. So let's start flipping through these cards. I'll just stop long enough so you can get a good view of the cards. Maybe this deck might be in your wheelhouse, maybe not. Now these cards are all kind of grouped. On the backs you will see that they are grouped in categories. There are several categories, so you can use the backs also in your divination. Which is a cool thing. I haven't yet worked with this deck in earnest. You know, I kind of work through my decks methodically, and I do seem to get decks quicker than I can work with them, because I like to work with my decks for a while to get a feel for them, how they read. And I think you need to do a minimum of a couple of weeks, and sometimes maybe a month, somewhere between 2 weeks and a month, to really develop a relationship, and maybe longer for some of you. But yeah, I want to get, there's some decks, oh yeah, I have many decks, Oracle and Tarot, that I have not used, but you know, I buy faster than I can use them because I'm afraid with some of these indie decks that they may go away, never to return, because you never know. This is a pretty card. So, yes, this is an indie deck, and it's been around, first printing in 2018. Digital art. Some people like that, some people don't. I'm picky with my digital art. And this does seem to be like a compilation of the artist's work. You could tell that maybe she did groupings of these, of the artwork, you know, in a sitting, because some fit with others, you know, they fit with other cards. They have some similar cards, similar humanoid depictions, you know, they're the same. Like she has some fairy type looking female figures. See, here's a kind of Tinkerbell in the the hourglass type card. It reminds me of Tinkerbell in the Hourglass, you know, Peter Pan. And I know she has some other fairies in this deck. I love this card. Love, love, love this card. I think she's beautiful. And with my digital art, I find that I don't gravitate towards, if they're depicting humans, I don't like them to be too real. I don't like models. There's very few, and the outlier will be Danielle Noel's deck with her Moonchild Tarot. But I don't gravitate towards the Star Child Tarot because I don't know, the pictures are too human, too fashion model-y, too like Vogue. I don't know. I just don't reach for that deck, and I am considering about putting it on eBay and selling it because I just don't. I reach for the Moonchild, but I never reach for the Star Child. Maybe I just need to work with it more before I decide that. But do you see what I mean? Some of the females are depicted very, you know, they're very alike and similar. I do like this one. She's a mermaid. She's beautiful. So you see, these are, it's like she did these in a sitting or in a grouping, you know, the girl on the swing, different iterations of it. And here's another fairy. So yeah, I think if you ordered on her website just the cards with no box, you know, no, I don't know if it comes in a guidebook. I think it's $35, but if you want the whole shebang, I think they're $55. More mermaids, love it. And the dolphins. So it seems like she did all these, the oceanic themed cards in one sitting, the fairy cards. So it's, and then she made them kind of, you know, she put some keywords on the bottom. But I think they, in a lot of ways, they do fit. Another mermaid. So yeah, if you want to see my full unboxing of this Borderless deck, it is on my channel. You can find it on my playlist. I think I have an unboxings playlist. Now there are 71 cards, I think, in this deck. So you do get a lot of cards. And I think part of that is because, you know, as you can see, you know, on the back, they are grouped into categories, and there's lots of ways to use these cards in your divination. I think it adds an extra layer. Almost like, you know, suits. She's a little bit funky, reminds me very Stevie Nicks vibe with the hat. I like this going off grid. Unplugging, disappearing for a while. Higher Learning, another fairy card. I'd love to hear in the comments, what do you think between, which version do you prefer? And do you think seeing both of them, that anyone, if you weren't aware of this deck before, if you like it, or you're kind of like, not for me. This looks like a plague mask. So you do get much more of the artwork with the Borderless, but we'll lay a few cards together and see how they fit with each version. Now this deck does, I would say it's a very female-centric deck. Obviously, I think we had the one male and the mermaid couple. So it's very, very female-centric. There is some diversity, I guess you could say race or skin color. Some of these are more fantasy figures, so all are body beautiful, so there's no body really diversity in this deck, but it is, give it a pass because it's very whimsical, fantasy oriented. There's definitely no age diversity, if I remember correctly. I will call it out, but I won't, it won't stop me from using or, liking the deck. Obviously I bought it. Reminds me of the White Rabbit. See, young, beautiful, body beautiful, but I mean the whole vibe of the deck is fantasy. So this is very Tinkerbell-like. She's really cute. She's a cute pixie. I mean, her dress is like the Disney Peter Pan Tinkerbell, except, she's brunette instead of a blonde. I do love the artwork in here, though, and I do want to work with this in earnest, and I think because of the extra categories, I'm going to have to, I'd probably have to work with this alone. And probably for at least a good 2 weeks. This isn't something you can try for a week, probably even a whole month. Akashic Records. There is a little bit of a difference in the color palette. Do you see how much, her dark, it's a little bit more saturated in the Borderless edition. You see the difference in the skin tone of the legs. Just, yeah, a little bit more saturation. This is a little bit more, the bordered version is a little more muted in its colors. Fantasy. And in the hands, do you see? The hands in the Borderless edition are a little bit darker than the hands in the bordered edition. Last card. All right, so let's just take, got some plastic there. Let's just lay these out. And see how they look. And I'm going to move my little paraphernalia. We'll move these up. I'm going to do this. Move that up a little bit. And we will lay out the same cards in the Borderless edition. Okay, like I need to get up a little bit more. There we go. All right, which do you prefer laid out together? You know, I like both. I think because the artwork can be so, you know, diverse, I think that the border does kind of break it up a little bit. If they are laid out next to each other. But then with the Borderless edition, you get the full extent of the artwork. I mean, these aren't, you know, huge borders, but it does make a difference. You get a little bit, well, in some of the cards, you definitely get a little bit more saturation in the Borderless edition. Difference in skin tone is different, as you could see. But I like both versions. If it hadn't been for the fact that I was backing the Kickstarter and she was offering a second deck at a very discounted price, I would not have gotten this one because I had already had this on pre-order. But I'm glad I have both editions. Again, this is matte cardstock. This is a little bit semi-gloss. This has got shiny, more metallic silver edges, where the edges on this one is muted that you can hardly tell that it's edged. But now that you know, here, I'll show you. Now that the light, I've got better light. And when I started with, you can see it's muted. It's like, you know, like you know, Ethany's Bad Bitches Tarot, how that's a muted rose gold. This is like a muted silver, and I quite like that. Whereas this is like a little bit more typical silver. I don't want to say it. It's not like holographic. It's just metallic. So that is the Healers of the Earth Oracle Bordered and Borderless edition side by side by Mandy Peterson. And like I said, this is in pre-order status. You can pre-order this off her website. And I'm going to show it again. Right there. empoweryourhealerwithin.com. But this one you can get. Price $35 to $55. If you want the whole shebang with the book box, or $35 for, I believe, the cards only. So you have a choice. Let me know what you think about the artwork, the borders. Is this something you think you might want to get? Are you going to put it on your wish list? I'd really like to know. And hit a like, a subscribe, a notification bell for the next video. I would really appreciate it if you found any value to this video. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be back really soon with another video. So bye for now.